Hello, I'm K.D. Hale, Vice President of the Association of African American Cultural Gardens, and I have the honor of welcoming you, our audience, to our Sankofa Web Series. Our goal is to educate regarding the African American experience through this series. We will be interviewing some of the most interesting, engaging leaders, business leaders, and great entrepreneurs in this great city. These change agents will tell us about their journey, who they are, who inspired them, what they do, and what does African American history and African American cultural gardens mean to them. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page, the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. And go to our website, AAACG.org, for most updated information regarding events in our Sankofa series, which can also be viewed on demand. We will be breaking ground for the final phase of building the African American Garden this year, and we are excited. But in the meantime, please enjoy this episode of the Sankofa series brought to you by the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. Thank you.
Hi, I am Val B. King, granddaughter of legendary King of the Blues, B.B. King. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the African American Cultural Garden Sankofa Education Series. I am your host, Cierra Nelson, and I am here with Ernest Wilkerson Jr. of the Wilkerson LPA, managing partner that you are, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So I just want to say thank you, first of all, for spearheading the donation of $325,000 to the Cultural Gardens Building Fund. And what a donation, but talk about why this is so important to you.
Well, it's critical, and I am so happy, and it's so nice of you to acknowledge some of my efforts. It wasn't my total efforts, it was a collective effort, because this was so important of a project for Cleveland, for African Americans in particular, and for Americans and Clevelanders, because you do not have a history, a Cleveland history or an American history without African American history, that we are baked in that history. And so if there was no African American history, there would be no American history. So I think it's very important. I think it's very important also symbolically. I think it's very important that we are often are reminded about the contributions that African Americans have made in this community, this nation. And that's why I think it's so important. I think it's also important for our youth, as a constant reminder for them that we can achieve, and once you achieve, then you can sit back and help another generation.
So when you first heard about the project, why was it so exciting for you? What does it mean to you personally to be a part of such a wonderful project?
Well, just to be able to contribute in any way that I could possibly can. Like I said, it is critical that we recognize our contribution to this community generally. And there's so much that we still don't know. And there's so much that hasn't been told. And I hope that this is an impetus for that to occur. So that's why I wanted to be involved in the project from the very beginning, giving a personal contribution. When I was approached, I was happy. And then when I was asked to see what else we could do, I was at a point where I had some influence along with others, to make sure that we made sure that this particular project could be all that it can be, and we have to continue in that effort.
Now, you've also mentioned too, because I've had Tony Sias on before talking about the Karamu House, everything he's done, and you've also done some contributions for the Karamu House as well.
Well, in terms of contributions, yeah, I'm pleased to be among a number of board members of the Cleveland Foundation when the major contribution for the theater here of $1 million was given by the Cleveland Foundation. That's a wonderful organization to give, and they recognize how great this organization was and is and has been to this community. So, and that's one of the lessons, that hopefully we can all be in positions of influence. So we're at the table to really to sing our song and to give our story and to tell why this is important. And I must say, the Cleveland Foundation wasn't a hard audience to influence or to convince. They understood how important this was. Okay.
And also just wanted to mention for our audience that's watching as well, tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, on a day-to-day basis, I always like to start out by saying I am a husband and a father. That's certainly the most important for me to say in particular. But in terms of a career, I am a lawyer. I am an attorney. I've been doing it for a number of years now, too many to count, seems like sometimes. But I started out with large firms, and I was able to start my own firm. And we have a corporate practice where we've represented many of the corporations in this community and those that are headquartered nationwide. So I've been doing that for a number of years, whether it be commercial transactions or commercial litigation or employment matters or just general commercial issues that may apply. I've been able to represent many, many different corporations in this area, which I appreciate. And as of late, I was able to launch another part of our practice, which is called Wilkerson for the People, where I saw, when I was representing insurance companies or other, I was able to see that our people, I didn't feel were being represented as well and didn't know their rights. So I was able to I was blessed to be able to start another venture, Wilkerson for the People, where we represent hundreds of people, actually all of Ohio, and we actually are practicing in Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus and in Toledo, and we've done something in Youngstown. So it's a pleasure to be able to do that and to give back.
That's awesome, and that was so nice that you mentioned your family too. A lot of people just talk about their careers and everything they're doing. So that's very nice that you mentioned that. So back to the cultural gardens and all of the giving, what do you think that this means more specifically for the culture and especially for young people in our community, because a lot of young people will be able to enjoy this here in Cleveland?
Well, we have to remember that our story is being told, and many of it still is untold. I learn things every day about our history, and it's so great to be a student of African American history, because you learn so much, and so much emphasis is entertainment, which is great, and culture, but we really provide leadership in so many different realms, whether it be education, or whether it be business, or whether it be technology, or whether it be computers. All of those things. And we have our own culture that we actually infuse in those arenas as well. So when you think of a cultural garden, when you're thinking of a multitude, of different type of flowers and arrangements and all of those things that go into something like that, architecture, things that may go in something like that, productivity, all of those things are infused in an African American cultural garden.
You've done so much work yourself. How do you think others can support the African American cultural gardens? How can they get involved? How can they help?
Well, first of all, they got to know it exists. That's the first thing. And if we have to tell our story, we have to know that, hey, this is a hard thing to do. This is what we should be doing. How can I contribute? Give them ways of contributing, spreading the word, giving a financial contribution, taking part of all the activities. I know there's activities that go on. So all of those things can help. And in your pockets of influence, that's what's important. In your pocket of influence, wherever that may be, you have to continue to talk about this particular garden, this particular project, and the contributions of African Americans. You know, it's hot now, diversity, inclusion, and equity. But we have to talk about that in all phases, in all businesses, in all ventures, in all venues. It's so important.
And also, what can the young people, and I'm talking about school age, you know, they always feel like, I want to do something too. So we're talking about school age kids, teenagers, high schoolers. What can they do to get involved and to also help out?
Well, I think that they need to take part of the activities as well. They need to give the contributions that they can and not just money, but certainly in terms of their time and their talent, to the extent that there are exercises that they can do and activities they can take part of. They need to really sing their song in terms and let grown people know how important this is to them, and perhaps how important for them when in their own matriculation, to make sure African American history generally is a part of their curriculum. I think that's very important. Okay.
So any more that we need to do as far as raising money, more donations, or we can always use donations, but any more that we can do that we want to put out there, or a certain amount, certain number, or?
Well, you know, I was involved in the very beginning, and believe me, they haven't been shy in terms of asking for contributions. I think they should continue in that effort. But you'd be surprised there's still a lot of people who really don't know about this project, and we have to continue to do that. And some people actually think that perhaps we may be done. So there's so many different levels of education out there in terms of this project. And so I think we had to get the word out that, hey, this project continues, and it is not complete, and that we all need to take a part of it. All of us and all of our different realms, we should be a part of it as well.
Okay, well, thank you. Were there any other exciting things that you want to talk about as far as this project, or anything that is coming up that everyone should know about?
Well, nothing in particular. I just wanted to say in terms of our youth, because that's so important, that you know, we just have to stay away from instant gratification. You know, people want things fast and in a hurry, and it does not work that. And within success, there are many failures, but you don't think of them as failures. You just say, I missed the mark that time, but I'm going to continue, and I'm going to continue to do this. So I may not have gotten that grade that I wanted, but on this one, I'm going to do better. And I may not have gotten that particular job, but I'm going to improve my resume so I can get this other job. I am going to educate myself so that I am the best candidate for this particular project and this particular job. Or I'm going to own my own business. And how do I own my own business? By educating myself as to how this other person did it. And seek out mentors, ask questions. I did the same thing. You know, introduce yourself, and you'd be surprised how people will help you.
That's awesome, and I like how you said that a part of learning and being successful is failing. That's one thing I always hear in my head when Michael Jordan says he's always been a winner because he kept failing. So he kept going. So that's definitely the key there. So thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
For coming on. Again, thank you for your spearheading that large donation and just being an instrumental person that's contributing greatly in Cleveland, Ohio. So thank you for that.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you so much again for watching this edition of the African American Cultural Garden Sankofa Education Series. I'm your host, Cierra Nelson, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Beverly Lloyd, board member and Juneteenth chair for the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. And we are bringing you Do You Know? We like to highlight leaders in the community, both in person and virtually. So let's take off right now with a wonderful individual and see if you do know. She joined the Cleveland Foundation in 2006 as its program director for neighborhoods, housing, and community development. In that role, she is the principal liaison between university circles, institutions, and the struggling surrounding neighborhoods. They have a median family income of $18,000. But she's unique. She's as comfortable in the boardroom as she is in the church and the community room. She helps businesses understand the lay of the land better and helps residents understand the business side as well. She leads the foundation's grant-making team and is currently Senior Vice President Program at the Cleveland Foundation. If you guessed India Pierce Lee, then you do know.
Hi, my name is Levita Ewing, board member for the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. The mission of the association is to educate regarding the African American experience and to complete the monument for the African American garden. Our Sankofa series represents our dedication to bring to you the history and amazing journey of African Americans in this great city. Our garden represents a journey, starting with the door of no return to the resilience of our ancestors and family to make a difference in this country. The water feature gives us hope and joy for our future generations, knowing you can accomplish anything with dedication and hard work, regardless of the migrants of challenges. Our goal is to break ground this year to complete the garden, but we need your help to get to the finish line. Please make your tax-deductible donation by going to AAACG.org or mail your check to P.O. Box 20237, Cleveland, Ohio, 44120. Thank you.